With From Software having an action RPG sector of gaming in the chokehold, we have Game Science, a studio from China bold enough to take familiar traits from their formula and make their own unique experience. That experience is Black Myth Wukong. Now, if you're like me and have been playing these Soulsborne games throughout recent years, you probably ask yourself, what makes this game so special whenever you see a character do a dodge roll to E-frame out of an attack? Well, I'm here to show you a few reasons why this game stood out among the rest. Within 10 seconds from beginning a new game, we are thrusted into a cinematic experience that is much more than a world-establishing cutscene. This is a tutorial where you are the final boss to a pantheon that you don't want to be a part of. This setup gives you a taste of your future capabilities in combat, the scale of power when it comes to foes you will be dealing with, and the focus the game will have on Sun Wukong as a main character.
And so ends the last tale of Sun Wukong. A hero who treasured his freedom above all else.
The last action RPG I played was Elden Ring. Whenever me and the homies linked up to play co-op, they had completely different characters. In Wukong, everybody is playing with the Destined One, an agile fighter who dodges with after images and strikes with precise attacks to build up focus during combat. This allows players to unleash even more powerful attacks with this game's distinct weapon, his staff, the power pole, the Jingbang. If you're a Donatello fan, you're gonna love this game. His fighting style is derived from this signature weapon, his entire fighting style. We're talking combos that require attention to movement animations, the staff itself having special stance attacks that give you advantages during specific combat situations. And instead of a variety of different weapons, as you progress through the game, you craft different variations of the staff. Progression in this game is handled in a less stressful way. If you get smoked in a fight, you still keep all your currency, or will. This means that in a way, your deaths and XP go hand in hand. Most of the time, if you run up to a cliff, you'll actually be protected by an invisible wall. I don't know if that's good or bad. While this means the platforming is much more forgiving, players with skill issues will still get Thanos if they try to coast through the game. Ah, yes, the skills, abilities, and buffs in this game will have you doing all types of experiments. You have abilities which are what we'd call superpowers today. Starting moves like Rock Solid make you nearly indestructible for a short time, and Immobilize freezes enemies at the snap of a finger and allows you to get free hits in, or you could even use that to make some space to heal during battle. Spells and acrobatic combat aren't the only things you use during combat. You also have dozens upon dozens of transformations that you could use. Being that this game is coming from a legendary story, it only makes sense to incorporate these in some way. The most fascinating aspect about this game to me is how it springboards from the Journey to the West story and translates much of that lore into video game format. The story takes place after the legend, like Scarface, the world is yours. Instead of a vague description for items and mysterious characters that require YouTube detectives, we have a vast encyclopedia that can be brought up with the press of a button. Wise proverbs, poems, and origin stories that provide info on just about every location and character in the game. You can even get hints to find secrets in the game by reading into these entries you unlock. The game is constantly showing you that this is a world dipped in Chinese folklore. Most of the characters are anthropomorphic like those historic paintings, and those environments give a fantastical twist to places based on real life locations. I can only imagine what it must be for people from China to see all these ideas and stories portrayed in such an immersive way. Especially when you've been hearing and seeing different adaptations, portrayals, and other works inspired by this Journey to the West story. So there it is, a few reasons why this action RPG stands out amongst many others who have decided to follow the familiar formula of the era. Shout out to Game Science too, because this is their first major game after releasing many mobile games. And even though the game has a few glitches and bugs, I got to have a solid playthrough with it. I appreciate them for exposing me to a side of culture and mythology that I haven't seen before in games. Shout out to that entire development team.
Not a soul can fathom his mind.